It's rare that I use stupid as a compliment, but that's the best way I can describe Duck Game. It's a stupidly entertaining party game that doesn't take itself seriously, only helping to raise its charm. With Untitled Goose Game and Duck Hunt taken, it's no shot that all that was left to name this game was Duck Game. In a way, it's vague enough to not constrict the gameplay you'd expect from it, but also straight to the point, and I think it nails it perfectly. It all takes place in this destructive, cyberpunk-like world where ducks are soldiers. Duck Game's content is divided into two sections, single-player challenges and single-screen multiplayer. Let's talk the single-player first. When you first boot up Duck Game, you're immediately in the game. It uses this interactive menu designed as part of the game. You can move around your duck to different parts of the science facility and navigate over to the single player content, options, gameplay records, and the level editor. It's not a common design choice to see in modern video games, so it's nice to see it in an indie game like this. Walking into the single player content room, everything is laid out like an old arcade, one where completing challenges earns you tickets for prizes, or in this case, bizarre looking hat add-ons and gameplay modifiers. Modifiers can be anything from having moon gravity for stages or starting off with a helmet for extra protection. Some of them are fun to mess around with and only make navigating some of the more challenging levels more chaotic. Hats, on the other hand, are just visual gags that are vastly more entertaining than they sound. There's plenty of pop culture references here that will make you chuckle every time. Jumping into the gameplay, there's a handful of different arcades to choose from, each with different game modes. Target missions have you taking out all the enemies in the stage as fast as you can. Variety Zone has you using different weapons and tools to navigate a stage. Lastly, there's Chainsaw Racing, which is my personal favorite. It's here that you're using a chainsaw's momentum to slide across the stage as you try to reach the finish line. Chainsaw Racing alone is a phrase I never thought I'd have to say in a review, and it's even wackier and more hilarious in practice. Those are just some of the arcades available, but there are a few others that are unlockable as you start to earn medals with each of the previous arcades. While I enjoyed my time playing the single player content, it ultimately came off as more of a distraction and a way to get a hold of the controls. I found myself jumping into the challenges while on bus rides where I can quickly get a new high score with the 15 minutes I had to burn. The real enjoyment comes from the multiplayer mode. Duck Game has couch multiplayer, local wireless, and online multiplayer. It plays a lot like Towerfall in the sense that you're just after these one-hit kills with different kinds of weapons. You can set up your own rules for each match whether you're playing offline or online for matchmaking. In my experience, matchmaking online was stable and surprisingly quick when trying to find people online. Once in a match, you have a few seconds before the absurdity erupts. You have to grab a weapon randomly generated on the stage and take out all the other enemy ducks. Part of the strategy that goes into these quick action fights is how the weapons all operate differently. You're never given an ammo count for each of the weapons, so you're endlessly firing until you realize, oh crap, I'm out of bullets. Shotguns, for example, have to be cocked right away after every shot. It's not automatic like most games have accustomed you to. These multiplayer matches are short bursts of disorderly fun. Their lasting appeal grows if you're playing offline with your friends around you, and it makes for a great time. Playing online with strangers and the solo challenges are still pretty amusing, but they don't really have the lasting impression that the local multiplayer does. There is a map editor built into the Switch version that lets you make your own battle arenas. I found this to be a good distraction as I prepared for game nights with completely new stages. Ultimately, Duck Game feels like a jack of all trades but a master of none. I enjoy the couch multiplayer, it's the strongest feature it has going for it. Solo challenges, online matchmaking, and the map editor all act as complements to that main feature. When I was playing Duck Game, I found that my attention to it was short-lived before my friends and I switched over to another game. On the Switch for some on-the-go commutes or breaking it out during lunch with some friends, it's a fantastic 10 to 15 minutes of mayhem that I keep coming back to, but one I also quickly move on from. Duck Game is incredibly simple when it comes to its art style. It's made to look like a retro game, almost like a long-lost Newgrounds animation. It's that simplicity that adds to the humor of all the destruction happening on screen. Seeing how each of the hats interact to your duck letting out a quack always puts a smile on my face. In the same way one would laugh at Octodad looking like a mess as he walks around, that same energy exudes from Duck Game. Its soundtrack sounds like it's ripped out of an old Sega Genesis game, and it's awesome. The synth rock behind a lot of the tunes in Duck Game is just so darn catchy, with Steel Mill Street setting out as one of my personal favorites. They're funky, grudge, and goosebump inducing. The added HD rumble use on the Nintendo Switch version for subtle weapon use is a great touch as well. With the game so simple in audio and visuals, it's a minor but noticeable touch like this that really stands out. Duck Game is a marvelous party game that feels like a compliment to the Nintendo Switch's growing library of couch party games. It doesn't necessarily outshine the likes of Towerfall, Overcooked, or Mario Party, but at its low entry price point, it's a solid addition. If you have all the other alternatives already and are still eager for more, Duck Game is definitely worth looking into. Thank you so much for watching the entire review. As a reward, check out the description of this video. There'll be 3 codes for Duck Game on the Switch all the way at the bottom, so hopefully you're one of the first people to watch the whole video.